Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So before I delve into today's topic, Tenkar's there's tavern.games/prime. Today, tomorrow, it's Prime Day sales over at Amazon. This will take you to the tavern storefront. Essentially, any purchases you make will help support the tavern. Yes, it's an affiliate link. I do appreciate all the help you can offer to me and my various co-hosts. It all gets put to good use. So, why do I have Dragon 68 up on the screen? Well, Dragon 68 is where I first came across AD&D's 1E's weather system, the weather charts, which were later published again in, I guess, the World of Greyhawk box set. So, as you can tell from my background, with the door behind me, I am in the Poconos. So last night, we had a short, wasn't very long storm. Maybe the worst of it was about, I don't know, 20 minutes. But we were walking the dog, Rachel and I, and we could smell it in the air. You could smell the electricity coming. You could see the wind picked up from almost nowhere, and it blew the trees. It was actually kind of spooky. So we said, let's cut the walk short. We're back to the house. And sure enough, 5 minutes after we get back to the house, rain is coming down in sheets. We got thunder. We got lightning. But the wind would come blowing through. It would rattle windows. Lights flickered at one point. Well, this morning I'm looking out the back window. I can see part of a tree came down in my yard. And according to my father, the chainsaw is back in New York. So, between pruning shears and a hacksaw, kind of going old school, right? If you had to clear a road, I had to clear this tree. This part of the tree that came down. So it was partially on the wash line. Something you had to do, something that was unplanned, right? Well, issue 68, like I said, introduced me to weather in basically fantasy campaigns or any RPG campaign. And here's the thing. We don't really use it, right? It's an underused event. Now, I will admit, I used it in my teen years in the early 80s, running AD&D, running Temple of Elemental Evil, and my party had about 30 miles to travel. They were doing it the equivalent of February in Greyhawk. And I rolled on a table, and it rolled a major storm that lasted for like 36 hours and dropped, I don't know, 5 feet of snow, some ungodly amount. Well, the party was in the middle of effing nowhere, didn't have supplies for handling a snowstorm. Yeah. The campaign ended pretty much on its second session because of a snowstorm. This is where DM Fiat would come in later days, where you would make the ruling like, all right, not quite that bad. But weather is another random event. And I don't think you need to go as far as the tables in issue 68 of Dragon or where, I mean, I'll pull this up real briefly. But, hold on. So, whether in the world of climate for realistic AD&D adventuring, distance corresponds between hexes, degrees of latitude, and miles. I don't think that most campaigns need to go into that amount of detail. However, just as you often roll random encounters while your party is traveling, I think personally it should be more random events. Maybe a windstorm blows through. Maybe they encounter strange travelers. Maybe they stumble across a grove of strange plants and trees. It doesn't, not every random encounter needs to be an encounter. It could be an event, it could be something to interact with. But weather reminds them the world is still happening around them. That's part of the reason why you do random encounters, right? To remind the party that no matter what you're doing, going from point A to point B, whether it is outside, whether it is in a dungeon, whether it is in town, in a city, there's a world around you. And things still happen. Events still transpire. And I think your party, a light rain, picks up as you're traveling. Maybe make a ruling as a GM that, hey, listen, any saving throws against disease or poison over the next day is going to be at -1 because you were exposed to the elements. Give it some impact if you think there needs to be an impact, or it could be just like a random event. Party's traveling, they see a deer 30 yards away. It's startled, they're startled. What do? They might let it go off and do what it's going to do. Who knows? Maybe it's a druid in disguise. Or they may decide to hunt it because they need travel rations. These are the things that you need to think about adding to your campaign events table. And again, what goes on in issue 68, I killed a party with it because I wasn't willing to stray from the run as written, which a lot of AD&D 1E was to us back in that day. Today, here we are, 40 years later, I would run it differently. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But I still think weather has a place. It has an impact in your campaign, and not using it is to do with a service, not just to your campaign, but to the weather. So, folks, live stream tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Special guest. And we're going to be talking about one of the DCC powered RPGs. And of course, I'm sure more of this week in Gaming Stupid, but you know the thing. Folks, again, link in the bottom of the screen, Tenkar, there's tavern.games/prime. Prime sale going on. Many of you are going to be shopping there anyway. If you can use Tavern's links, it can only help us. That's greatly appreciated. Other than that, be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice, roll them well. We'll be back again tomorrow with that live stream. Catch you later.